Right now, the second you feel bored, you reach into your pocket and pull out a glowing rectangle with literally infinite entertainment inside it, but 40,000 years ago, a bored human had a rock, a stick, and a whole lot of absolutely nothing. So what did they actually do all day when there was nothing to do? Because the answer is way weirder than you'd think. And honestly, it might be the reason you can even understand this sentence. Here's the first twist. We picture cavemen grinding all day just to survive, hunting, running, fighting off things with teeth. But when anthropologists actually studied modern hunter-gatherer groups, they found something almost insulting. These people worked maybe 15 to 20 hours a week. 20 hours. That's it. And one anthropologist literally called them the original affluent society. Meanwhile, you're 3 coffees deep into a 9-hour shift, which means ancient humans had something you almost never get. Enormous, echoing stretches of empty time. So they should have been bored out of their skulls, right? Just staring at cave walls slowly going insane. But here's the strange part. The word boredom barely existed. It doesn't really show up in English until about 1852, when a writer named Charles Dickens basically popularized it. And for most of human history, there wasn't even a common word for that specific, itchy, restless, nothing-to-do feeling. So did they even feel it? And oh, they felt it. Because ancient monks later called it acedia, the noonday demon, that heavy, listless restlessness that creeps in when nothing's happening. So the feeling is ancient, we just gave it a name recently. So with all that empty time and that itch to fill it, ancient humans started doing something that changed everything. They gathered around the one thing that turned night into showtime: fire. And we actually have data on this because a researcher recorded conversations in a modern hunter-gatherer group, day versus night, and in the daytime the talk was boring, complaints, logistics, who did what, basically prehistoric emails. But at night, by the firelight, over 80% of the conversation flipped into something else entirely: stories, myths, legends, and singing. So the fire literally rewired their whole evening into a storytelling session. And think about that. The campfire was the first television, the first Netflix, a glowing screen everyone crowded around to escape into another world, 40,000 years before yours. But sitting still was never enough. And somewhere out there, a bored human picked up a hollow bone and blew into it. And the oldest instruments we've ever found are bone flutes carved around 40,000 years ago. So someone was bored enough to turn a dead animal's leg into music, and that's the origin of every song you've ever loved. And other bored humans stared at a blank cave wall and thought, I could put something there. And they did. Handprints, animals, entire hunting scenes. The first doodles in history, and get this. Some of those cave handprints are tiny. Kids' hands, so bored prehistoric children were basically drawing on the walls while the adults weren't looking, and some things never change. And when there was nothing to make and nothing to watch, they did the most human thing of all. They talked about each other, they gossiped, and scientists actually think gossip helped build language itself. A way to bond big groups and keep track of who to trust. So your group chat, your feed, all that drama. It's a 40,000-year-old survival tool. So let's add this up: storytelling, music, art, and language. Some of the most important things that make us human came out of humans sitting in silence with an itch to fill. So boredom wasn't the enemy, it was the engine. And that empty, restless feeling is basically your brain begging you to go create something, and psychologists have even shown it in experiments, because when you make people do something mind-numbingly boring first, afterward they get more creative, not less, since boredom is the pressure that squeezes out imagination. Which brings us to the uncomfortable part, you, me, all of us, because we never actually let ourselves get bored anymore. And the instant the silence creeps in, waiting in line, riding the elevator, lying in bed, we reach for the rectangle and swipe the feeling away. So ancient humans marinated in boredom and came out the other side with cave paintings and symphonies, while we marinate in TikTok and come out the other side with nothing, just tired thumbs. So here's the thought I'll leave you with the next time boredom hits and you feel that itch. Try not killing it. Just for a minute, let it sit. Because that empty feeling you're so desperate to escape is the exact same spark that once sat a caveman down by a fire and built everything human we have. So maybe the most human thing you can do is let yourself be bored. And if you made it this far, you clearly weren't that bored. So subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.